I saw somebody in the comments on Instagram the other day. There was a post by the NBA or somebody that pointed out that Duke could possibly have up to 5 first round picks in this draft. And somebody replied saying, that's why Coach K isn't a good coach. Duke has talent year after year, and somehow he still loses to UNC. And I think, respectfully, that is the most idiotic take I've ever heard. Because coaching takes a lot of talent, especially whenever you have those good players coming to you every single year. You know, we talked about we had Swiss Eel on the podcast a while back talking about March Madness, and we went into Coach K and we compared him to Pop a little bit. If it was the case that once you get talent, you're no longer a good coach, Popovich wouldn't be a good coach. Phil Jackson wouldn't be a good coach. Steve Kerr wouldn't be a good coach, and so on, which obviously is not the case. It takes talent to coach talent, because if all it took was just good players, then we could ask, why didn't the Lakers make it to the play-in this year? There you go. It really does take talent to coach talent, because you have to know the game, and more importantly, you have to instill discipline in the players and be able to basically tell them that you are the coach and you know the game, and they are going to run the plays that you say, and they have to listen to you and they have to respect you. And that, going back to the NBA, that isn't what happened with Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel just kind of let LeBron do everything, let the players run out there, sort of figure it out on their own, versus Popovich. Popovich, despite the Spurs losing the play-in, we still made it to the play-in with the players that we had, because we used our pieces accordingly with Coach Popovich. And Popovich, again, has 5 rings as a coach because him and Tim Duncan were both fundamental, and it just came down to putting our pieces where they needed to be. If all it took was talented players, then Coach K could have just sat on the bench the entire time, threw the players out there, and just let them win. But it takes discipline. It takes knowing the game to tell these players what to run, tell these players where they're going to go on the floor, what they're going to do, and that's what gets the wins. You have to be able to make rotations and know which of your players can be good at rotations, which player should go in for the other one, what you're missing on the floor right now, and so what you should sub in for. And that's obviously a major criticism of Coach Mike with the Bucks right now, messing up rotations right now, which I think is one of the biggest problems for the Bucks right now. But coaching also builds, that relationship. Tim Duncan and David Robinson both had Pop in their Hall of Fame speech. It's about being somebody that the players can look up to, and coaching builds a player. Again, the Spurs have one of the best developments in the league because we have Popovich and we have all of our athletic trainers and assistant coaches and stuff like that we're able to delegate what is a weakness, what is a strength, what can we work on, and it's a lot harder to point that out for somebody to do for themselves versus having a coach do exactly what their job title is, to coach and tell you, hey, these are the things we need to work on a little bit, and here's what you're lacking in, here's what we can work on, and that sort of thing. And Coach K, again, the players loved him. Pop and Coach K both, whenever Pop whenever he got the win record, and Coach K whenever he was retiring, surrounded by players hugging him and just celebrating him, jumping up and down with him, because again, he built that relationship with them, he helped them grow, he respected them, and then the players respected him, and so on. And so saying Coach K is a bad coach. Phil Jackson is a bad coach for having MJ or Kobe. Pop is a bad coach for having 3 Hall of Fame players. It's just so silly to me. I think honestly, Pop didn't have three Hall of Fame players. He made them Hall of Fame players. And Coach K, he didn't come in with players that were ready for the draft. Sure, they may have been built for the draft. They may have had the height, the weight, the vertical, but he still didn't have players that were ready for the draft. You couldn't have drafted them straight out of high school. They still had to play a year of college, learn the game, make them draftable by learning more about the rules and how competitive it is going to get as the levels continue to go up. And that's all I got for that. I mean, I'm not going to repeat myself and go on a crazy tangent more than I already have. But to me, coaching is an incredible part of the game, incredibly important part of the game. And to just downplay somebody for saying, oh, they had good players is so ironic to me.